educational purposes only and is not intended as professional advice. The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the author TurboWorld and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, entity, organization, employer, or company. No warranties. This video is provided as is without any representations or warranties, express or implied. TurboWorld makes no representations or warranties in relation to the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability, or availability of the information contained in this video. Any reliance you may place on such information is strictly at your own risk. Limitation of liability. In no event will TurboWorld be liable for any loss or damage, including without limitation, indirect or consequential loss or damage, or any loss or damage whatsoever arising from loss of data or profits arising out of, or in connection with, the use of this video. External links. Any links to external websites or products mentioned in this video are provided for convenience and informational purposes only. They do not constitute an endorsement or approval by TurboWorld of any of the products, services, or opinions of the corporation or organization or individual. TurboWorld bears no responsibility for the accuracy, legality, or content of the external site or for that of subsequent links. Some of these links are affiliate links where TurboWorld will earn a small commission if you make a purchase. Shopping through these links is a great way to support the channel, so TurboWorld can keep making helpful videos for you. Thank you so much. Professional advice. The transformed artistic content in this video does not constitute professional advice and should not be relied upon as such. Always seek the advice of a qualified professional regarding any questions you may have about any concerns. Changes. TurboWorld reserves the right to make changes to this disclaimer at any time. Your continued use of the content following any changes signifies your acceptance of the revised terms and agreeance to the terms. Copyright. All these uploads are my own intellectual property. You nor anyone else does not have permission to reuse any part of them without TurboWorld's written consent. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. The fair use of a copyrighted work, including such use by reproduction in copies or phonorecords or by any other means specified by that section, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship or research, is not an infringement of. Sponsored by AT&T. Point 1 and 7, United States Code, Article 107. Fraudulent DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, takedown requests will not be tolerated. This includes the most common violation, takedown requests through media outlets such as YouTube. Fraudulent DMCA takedowns, which include false YouTube copyright infringement claims, are illegal, a violation of Romans 13, and are punishable by law. Any person who knowingly materially misrepresents under this section 1. That material or activity is infringing, or 2. That material or activity was removed or disabled by mistake or misidentification, shall be liable for any damages, including costs and attorney's fees, incurred by the alleged infringer, by any copyright owner or copyright owner's authorized licensee, or by a service provider, who is injured by such misrepresentation, as the result of the service provider relying upon such misrepresentation in removing or disabling access to the material or activity claimed to be infringing, or in replacing the removed material or ceasing to disable access to it. 17 U.S.C.A. 512, Article 17, United States Copyright Act, Section 512. Fair Use Review, 18 U.S.C. $241. https://www.att.com/dmca. This message is public notice and free speech protected by our nation's Constitution. This message is for educational purposes and entertainment, and does not represent legal advice or service. TurboWorld Network is solely responsible for the content of this video. According to Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, the platforms which carry our content are legally transformed fair use media, and our messages, are not the content creators of our posts, and are not responsible for the contents of this message in any way, and therefore, have no right to label, suppress, or remove our content. Anyone removing this message without our consent, or without legal grounds, will be subject to major monetary penalties which apply fully and separately to all responsible parties and their organizations. Any defamatory labeling or removal of this message by the host platform or any other outside party or agency without our consent, constitutes agreement to those terms. Any person representing this message as unreliable or removing this message or ordering its removal without prior notice to us and without authorization from us, will thereby be agreeing to pay major additional monetary penalties for that nuisance, violation and damage. Our nation's Constitution prohibits censorship of, and interference with this message, and 18 United States Code 241 says it is a conspiracy of my rights if two or more conspire to deny my rights on any level, to share, create, express and speech. That is punishable by death sentence if death is involved and always is a felony. Our transformed creations, video, voice, text, ideas, art, expression are all protected by PUBL No. 105 to 304, 112 STAT 2860, October 28, 1998. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Protected under copyright law, U.S. Code 17, Sections 107 to 118. We are in compliance with 17 U.S.C. $512 and the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA. This message is for educational purposes and entertainment, and does not represent legal advice or service. TurboWorld Network is solely responsible for the content of this video. According to Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, the platforms which carry our content, are legally transformed fair use media, and our messages, are not the content creators of our posts, and are not responsible for the contents of this message in any way, and therefore, have no right to label, suppress, or remove our content. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees 5 key freedoms: freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and the right to petition the government. Conspiracy against rights. Section 241 makes it unlawful for 2 or more persons to agree to injure, threaten, or intimidate a person in the United States in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his or her having exercised such a right. Unlike most conspiracy statutes, 241 does not require, as an element, the commission of an overt act. The offense is always a felony, even if the underlying conduct would not, on its own, establish a felony violation of another criminal civil rights statute. It is punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment unless the government proves an aggravating factor, such as that the offense involved kidnapping, aggravated sexual abuse, or resulted in death, in which case it may be punished by up to life imprisonment and, if death results, may be eligible for the death penalty.